Welcome to the Hacking Your Health podcast with Ben Canning and Dave Kennedy. Two guys heading out to hack body, mind, business, and beyond. We are here to provide a single source, bullshit-free guide to understanding your body and how you can live better for longer.
Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back. I am Ben Canning.
I'm Dave Kennedy.
And this is the 52nd one-year anniversary episode of Hacking Your Health podcast. You knew, right?
52nd. Can you believe that? I can't believe we've been doing it like literally consistently for every week, consistently for 52 times for a whole year. I thought that was awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe it's been a year. We
Me
do
neither.
have a couple more episodes, but I mean, we've done this
Yeah.
is the 52nd week, which is cool. I mean, even getting the sort of notification and reminder from Twitter that the Twitter's been up going for a year and just seeing the progress and how it's been built over the past year and everybody's involved. It's been a good week of reflection.
I agree. It's been interesting to see, kind of the folks join the We Hack Health kind of movement and the positivity around it and the excitement and people really, taking a plunge into this, I think, and having a good understanding. I think the biggest challenge that everybody has is, you're fed all this stuff around diets and, get lean in 15 days and that type of stuff. And they're not lifestyle changes that you can make that will be successful long term. And that's really what we've been trying to get at, throughout this entire year is giving the right amount of, what are you laughing at? Is it the shadow?
No, it's me. I just feel I'm much smaller than you in the freaking screen. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Sorry. So you laughing. The shadow's pissing me off. It's like a different time of the day that we're podcasting. I'm trying to get rid of the shadow over here. Let's see if that works. It made it worse, I think. Anyways, what we're trying to accomplish, obviously, is give you the right tools necessary, keep you motivated, and continue on your journey as you start to grow with this. And I think, that's been very successful. We've seen a lot of folks really take control of their health, take control of their bodies, can take control of their mind, and start to dedicate time for themselves to live longer, to feel better about themselves, to hit the goals that they want to. And I think, what I've realized over this past year is this whole thing has helped me keep motivated, stay motivated, and seeing other folks be successful with it gets me so excited to see that, and gets me as much motivated as I possibly can be. I'll tell you, I was in Vegas and we just got back on Friday night. And there was a show that we went to go see called Absinthe, which is a very non-PG type of show. But it's more of like a comedy / burlesque / acrobatic and, all this crazy stuff. It was amazing. It's probably one of the best shows I think I've ever seen. And, these guys that are on there, it's funny because I don't have a wandering eye for women. I have a wandering eye for like jacked men that walk by. Aaron's like, you're checking him out again? Seriously? So they had these like really jacked guys up in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to work so much harder when I get back, because like these guys are like, this one guy is doing like a walk on a pole, and he's like walking sideways, like he's just walking on the ground, but he's walking obviously vertically. And I'm like, the amount of core strength and upper body you have to have for that is absolutely ridiculous. And I was just like, I'm impressed. Like I want to get to that type of thing where I can walk on a pole sideways. So I might be getting a pole in my gym. I'll have to figure that out later. But again, the progress is the most important. We're always trying to make ourselves better. I got some great lifts in. And what was really cool is, I didn't count my calories while I was in Vegas, just too difficult to do. And granted, I'm sure I could have, so too difficult is not an excuse. But at the end of the day, I stuck with protein first rule. I kind of had a ballpark idea of where I was at. And I came back and I was the same weight and actually dropped 2 pounds, which I'm not happy about. So, it's one of those things where I did a great job while I was out there, I ate really well, but my meals were protein centric. I'd have a steak or prime rib or chicken, things that weren't, high in carbs. And not that carbs are bad, but you don't want to be filling up on fat carbs and everything else and then desserts and stuff. So I spent a good time out there and had a good time. But, looking back at the whole year, the control consistency and going on a stint like this, where you're getting a lot of lack of sleep, you're drinking a lot, you're out there partying, you're having a good time, to come back and to, be able to maintain the same type of weight was really cool.
Creative normality, slightly.
Yeah. I wanted to get back so bad. You have no idea. Like I'm so
no,
glad to get back.
I do.
Yeah, you hear my text every day.
I think the thing about that is two sort of sides to it. Number one, because you do this day in and day out, and because we've been doing it for so long, it is just naturally the way that you eat now. So okay, maybe you weren't tracking it calorie for calorie, macro for macro, but you probably ate similarly, just naturally, because that's the way that you do it. Like we weren't in the sort of phase where we're trying to change your habits and change the way that you eat. That's just simply the way that you do it because we've been doing it for so long.
Yep.
And even the fact that you didn't want to get so caught up in tracking every single macro, instead just try and be present in the moment and, enjoy the week or however long it was, but you still set yourself some guidelines and some rules in terms of making sure you hit your protein goal, and then everything else sort of built around that. And obviously as well, from what I gathered from everybody else, the output in general was high, just plenty of steps, plenty of moving around and stuff like that, still able to get your lifts in. So I think, being able to sort of take almost a week off actually tracking the data isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I think there's a lot to be said for, eventually down the line, getting to a spot where you're happy enough not to track food all the time, that okay, if I eat like this, that's roughly where I need to be with calories. And it's not, it's not that you need to be eating from MyFitnessPal every single day of your life for the rest of your life. It's just a good tool to get you to this. But I mean, you can do, but if there are times that you want to take it off, then I think it's good to be able to have that.
What was nice about it is, the day I got back, right back onto tracking again, and hitting consistent, goals and metrics yesterday. I sent you the text message, but I was able to enjoy some ice cream and hit my macro goals. There's a new ice cream store that my wife had to go and check out. She's like, I know all the ice cream stores. There's this one I've never heard of before, so we got to go there. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Okay. So we had ice cream. It was okay. I'm not a big sweets. I'm not a big sweets guy. Cold Stone's great. Like having that every once in a while, it's so sweet. It's very good. The one I had Cold Stone a month and a half ago or so, and it was like cookie dough, cake batter, like cake frosting, and like I was like, it was like just too much, which is really weird to say, but I'm not a huge like sweets guy. Like I like steaks and things like that a lot more. And I've actually gotten more into smoking meat. So I smoked some barbecue chicken yesterday. Day before that, I smoked some hamburgers. I'll be doing some brisket here either today or tomorrow. So, I like that type of stuff more than I like the sweets, to be honest with you. But again, I mean, that's a thing that has changed with me over time too. I don't go for the sweets. I don't need sweets. I get my sweets through, Greek yogurt or bananas or fruits or things like that, where that's kind of my snack if I need it. But overall, the consistency was really good. I mean, I'm going to say I don't think I had dessert once while I was out there, and not because I didn't feel like I couldn't have it. It's just I didn't want it. Erin went out with me, my wife, and we went to some really nice steak places. We went to do you have Laurie's seasoned salt over there?
No, but I've heard of it.
Okay, so Laurie's seasoned salt is like my favorite seasoned salt of all time.
I wonder, can I get this?
It is incredible. Are you ordering Laurie's seasoned salt right now? That would be the first time. But what was really cool about Laurie's seasoned salt is that there's also a steak place, and I guess they got a friend of mine that I know, John Breath. We met for lunch, and he's like, did you know Laurie's actually got famous for their steak place, their prime rib, and then their seasoned salt was what made them actually famous and everything else. So they actually had a steak place out there. We went to that and had some good prime rib. So, again, and even then, like, there's potatoes and all this other stuff around. I really just stuck to either like some of the seafood. We had a seafood platter, stuck to, some asparagus or broccoli, and the meats. And that seemed to work really well for me while I was out there and eating out. So again, you can do it without counting calories, I think. For me, if I'm home or if I'm traveling, I'm not insanely busy, especially in the Vegas nightlife. I feel like, I can continue to count calories and stay within that baseline because I want to track my metrics and goals. But at the end of the day, was very consistent with everything I was doing.
Well, the good news is I've just ordered that and it'll be here tomorrow. So I'll have to be able to do a full review. I think that's absolutely right. I mean, I was away over the weekend, and I mean, I guess the full honesty of it is I was kind of nervous about going away. Obviously, I'm coming pretty much into the tail end of a cut with James. We have very specific targets to hit. I had this trip planned. I mean, me and Ali have been planning it for probably what seems like about 5 years, but it has been booked and planned for a long time. And I knew the potential shit shows that were going to happen, and they happened. But I had obviously been so on the ball with everything right up until that point, and I sort of got the green light from James to like, just go and enjoy yourself. Like, you've worked hard up until this point, you know, just don't totally take the piss. Now, I think my totally taking the piss and his totally taking the piss are potentially slightly different. But I had a good time anyway, and I came back. And I mean, if we're talking about addition of weight or what needs to, or scale weight, I was 93 kilos. Sorry, I don't have the pounds straight off my tongue. 93 kilos the day that I went, and I was 93.8 this morning. So I didn't put on
93 kilos is 205.
205. So then I think 93.8 is like 206 point something. I worked at
206.7. Yep.
Yeah. So that was what I came back at. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that I'll be down back to 93 and probably below. And I have until the James wants me below 91 by the 27th. So that's like 12 days.
Son of a bitch.
But I've absolutely
That's
no
low,
doubt
man. You look. I just want to say from your pictures, you look absolutely great. I mean, your bicep definitions, your shoulders coming through, lats. I mean, chest out, your abs, everything, just everything's booming there. So that looks really good. Nice job. Seriously, I know it's been hard work, and you know, I've been living vicariously through calories through you, you know, but
it's okay. I'll have my time. I know.
And I'll have my miserable time too. So,
do you know what? It's actually been fine, and I think probably one of the best things that has come from it is the things that I have taken for granted in the past that I've been able to share, and like tips that I've been able to give out and talk within the client group and share with everybody. Like, I think it's been a very worthwhile process. And the goal after this will be to stay as lean as possible while getting as big as possible. But yeah, it's been a cool process. But anyway, I went out for a really good steak on Thursday. Went out to a best meal I've ever had on Friday.
That looked amazing.
I did consume 5,300 calories worth of alcohol alone. I don't know what I did in terms of actual food.
So many Irish car bombs, you know. It's just
I didn't have one. No Irish car one. Lots of tequila. I don't know whether I should be proud or ashamed of that, but anyway, that's how the weekend went. And then, as you said,
I actually made a pact with myself as I came back from Vegas that I'm not going to do any alcohol at least for like 6 months, if not longer. Because
you do know that 1 month today I'll be in Ohio with you.
Yeah, so I might have to bet a little bit on that one, but I'm trying to do 6 months because I found out that alcohol actually reduces protein synthesis by anywhere between 37 to 40%, which is unacceptable when I'm trying to build muscle. So I'm not willing to shave 37% muscle gains for alcohol. So I'm gonna cut that out quite a bit and let the gains roll. But I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm not saying that we have to drink alcohol. Well, obviously, it's actually quite funny because I'm sort of finalizing the details of everything, and actually, I'm really excited for what we're going to get up to and what we're going to plan. Obviously, you've got Red Con 1 shirt on, and we're going to train at their HQ, which is going to be
awesome,
insane. 50,000 square foot gym. Like, I can't even in my head, I can't even picture what size that is. But even
Trusted Tech headquarters is like 30,000 square feet, so it's like almost double the size of that, which shit. I can't even imagine. I mean, the downstairs area, the downstairs area alone is massive. I mean, it could fit 5 gyms in it. I can't imagine multiplying that times 10. It's going to be insane. Yeah,
it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Even the way that I'm going to do the training. So anybody who was there last year, like I did a lot of one-to-one stuff, so I'm going to do things slightly differently, and then planning stuff around the training too to make sure everybody gets the most value from actually being there, and then actually just hanging out. We're all obviously going to stay in one place. So yeah, I think it's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to it. I need to just get my head down, put the work in between now and then, stay on track, which I have absolutely no reason that I should go off track between now and then. Enjoy a couple of days hanging out with you guys, and then back to it as soon as I get back here. So yeah, that's everything in terms of like being able to manage things in different time blocks. And I think the sort of general mentality that I see from anybody who's going away that I know, like client-wise, they're sort of using that as okay, right, you know, it's 6 weeks to that, 7 weeks to that, however long it was whenever we started thinking about it. So they're using that, okay, I'm just going to get my head down, put the fucking work in for this long, spend a couple of days hanging out, probably over consume on calories while we're there, and then go and get back to it whenever they get back. So it's good to have those sort of time frames. And I think that's one thing that's really keeping me dialed into it. I'm also a little bit addicted to the feeling of like seeing the progress week on week. So I'm like now looking at things. I'm like, is this worth it? Like you talk about dessert. I was like, I don't really want to have dessert because is it worth it in the grand scheme of things? Probably not. So yeah, all in all, things moving in the right direction, starting to plan things out, looking forward to hanging out with everybody and not doing Irish car bombs. I'm going to make that a rule. There are no Irish car bombs allowed. And if anybody who's listening, who's going, anybody does bring it up, remember that I'm in control of the training for the 2 days that we're there.
That's the thing. It's like you don't want to piss off Ben too much. Yeah, so you don't want to piss off Ben too much because you're either going to 300 calories or it's going to be paid for. Or your training sessions will have hip thrusters and split squats and everything else you're going to hate in there. So yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, I've been struggling a little bit. So I was it was I think early in the week. It was like I got there on a Thursday. And so Aaron and I ended up doing like 2 nights ahead of time, just like at the Aria. And then we rent a place off of the strip. So all the trainers that were doing a Black Cat can go and just hang out. We have Paul and his wife, Paul, who runs our consulting division under Martin. He's an amazing cook. So he cooks for everybody every day. So we come home to, because training's a lot, it takes a lot out of you. You're there all day. You got to be on point. Adrenaline's kicking. So it's nice just to get back, maybe have a couple beers, and then have a good meal and then go to bed early. So we're pretty methodical from a training perspective on, making sure we get enough sleep, all that good stuff. But then as soon as training ends, it becomes an insane shit show. Just going around to party, everything's insane. And so, one of the days we have a big pool with a slide up there, and I decided to climb up the rock side of it, which is insanely hard to do. But I wanted to show off. So I'm like hanging up on top like this, and I'm pulling myself up, and I just fried my muscles somehow. But I was already at a point where I needed a deload week, and it just put me over the edge. And so like my arms were aching for like 2 days straight. I still went and lifted, which I shouldn't have done, but there were so many friends out there that wanted to lift with me. So of course I had to go and I had to show them up. One of the guys that listens to the podcast all the time, his name's Gringo, real, looks like a big dude, real strong. So I couldn't like have him show me up, while I'm out there. So of course, I'm out there doing stupid things. And so it was a good time. But I know I need a deload week. I just went today to Orange Theory because again, I need a deload week and I go to Orange Theory. And I can tell I'm just sore, run down. I didn't perform nearly as good as I could have out there. So I think I need a deload week. So, or day, a couple days.
I mean, we have four weeks between now and we beat over there. I would definitely recommend having a deload week somewhere within there because, I mean, I think it'll be a week straight. We'll be training and we did that last time and it was stupid. And I think you probably would be better having a deload.
And we push ourselves even harder because we want to destroy each other. So
fucking idiots. And I'm standing beside, it's stupid. Absolutely. Would not recommend. But yes, definitely have a deload week before then. And I did order myself some running shoes so that we can go to Orange Theory.
Nice.
I just got the notification that they've been shipped.
I'm excited.
And actually, I did cardio before I came down. I did 20 minutes and then just got ready. And I was like, do you know what? I think I have to admit that cardio is actually not that bad.
See? Look at that. Once you do it for a while, you start to get used to it and you like it, right?
It's the.
I never thought I'd hear this. This is a monumental day. This is a monumental day for us.
I know, but the thing about it is, I think initially it was the thought of doing it, and then it's the sucking at it at the start. But then I think what I actually enjoy about it now is the progress.
Yeah.
So I don't actually enjoy doing it at the time. Like I'm not enjoying sitting up in the bike. I literally sat in the bike, did 20 minutes of cardio, watching videos on how to make breakfast tacos, and then came back down and got ready. So I enjoy the feeling of progress. Not necessarily the cardio, but I did order a pair of running shoes because I have to beat you at Orange Theory.
Yeah, I look forward to it. And I'll tell you, the whole cardio thing for me, I feel like there's a good complement to cardio and resistance training. You can't go overboard with cardio though, because it will impact your resistance training. But at the end of the day, like if you're just doing some HIIT training twice a week, or you're doing a bike low impact, bike type stuff, you feel so much different, cardiovascular wise, your endurance, everything else really makes a big difference. And I do think that makes a big impact on your resistance training too, and how far you can push yourself during those periods of time. So I really enjoy it. I actually enjoy doing it while I'm there too, because like I'm competing against other people, even though I'm not really competing against other people. And that's, kind of how I look at that. But, overall, I really do think a combination of cardio, combination of resistance training, focus on resistance training, or whatever your goals are, obviously, is the right path to go. And it just takes a little bit of time to get you over that hump and get used to it. And again, make it more of a habit, right? Because you used to dread it, and then you start to see results. You're like, oh, I kind of like this. And now it becomes a habit. Now you're doing much better on that spot.
Yeah, 20 minutes a day I've been doing. And it's, for me, it's how you recover quicker and more efficiently between sets whenever you're doing your weight and resistance training. So because you're fitter, you can recover that a little bit better. So then you have more in your sets that you go to do as you go through your weight resistance workout training. So, I would always program it, just not for myself, but here we are.
Yeah, it's, I can't, you should, it'd be kind of funny. This would be a really good idea.
Judging by your face, I do not want to do it, and it would not be a good idea. I'm not interested.
We should have some sort of contest during this meetup where whoever wins it gets to do 1 week of your programming, Ben. So we actually get to torture you.
Oh, you get the program for me?
Yeah, for a week, or maybe a month or something like that. I don't know what it ends up being, but maybe but 1 week of programming that whoever wins it gets. Well,
to do. Why don't we do this?
Here's the thing, like
who likes for both of us?
Yeah. Why do I got to be roped into this?
Well,
this is for you.
Why not?
This is for you.
It's for you.
Well, here's the thing, like all the things that I hate, you like, and so I'd have to like figure out something that you really, really dislike, which isn't much. Like, I mean, you're like,
well, you've already assumed that. No. You've already assumed that you're going to win. You're assuming that you're going to win. And you're going to.
No. Somebody has to win. Somebody has to win. I'm not saying it's going to be me, but I'm sure that person's definitely going to want to have input from me.
We'll work it out between ourselves. But whoever wins can program a week for both of us.
Why do I got to be in this?
Well, why do I have to be in it?
Because you're the trainer. We don't ever get to program you at all. You're always programming us and torturing us.
Co-host of the podcast.
Yeah, all right. It's gonna be like 700. It's gonna be like 700 burpees.
Just put out a podcast. Nobody will know how this conversation. I do think though,
just cut up and it's all messed up and it sounds distorted. it doesn't make any sense.
Right. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you next week. Anyway, I do think we should have some form of competition in it. We'll sort something out between it, and I think it'll be good. I'm actually looking forward to the way that the program is going to be done. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to everybody being in the one place for the entire time, and I'm actually really looking forward to having Ryan there the entire time, because while it was good the last time having the guys from Blitz, they weren't there the full time, and I think there'll be a lot of sort of stuff that happens like in the morning and in the evening. Just having Ryan there as videographer to capture, number one, to have it as a memory, but number two, to sort of have it as this is what we do when we go away kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm already looking ahead at what we're going to do next year and where we're going to be.
I'm already getting nervous that you have a camera person that's going to be videotaping us in the gym, but that's fine. I'll get over it.
That's okay. You'll forget about him whenever he'll be like ninja style. He'll not be all up in your face. But yes, anyway, so today, now that we've done this, do we want to talk, like recap about the year, talk about the people in the community, see what's going on with everybody? I feel like a year is a pretty big milestone. And actually, to sort of touch on one of the cool things, and we're going to get Kev Cody on in the next couple of weeks. He's one of the people who's been following things from the start and just took action based on what we were saying, based on recommendations from other podcasts, based on different programs. And then now I'm actually coaching him. So I think it'll be cool to get him on and actually talk about his journey and how he's completely transitioned from the person he was before he started listening, before he started doing this. And somebody who's actually step by step started on themselves, took advice from podcasts, took advice from us, listened to the Lord Savior Andrew Hubman, did a couple of other training blocks, started coaching me, and what that's actually looked like over time. So it'll be cool to get him on in the next couple of weeks.
He's great. He'll post things, very much same type of mentality as myself, and he's doing really well with the training, and also always continuously making minor adjustments or improvements just to get that 0.1% or 0.5% or whatever it ends up being. And that's that's what it's all about. The more you learn, the more knowledge you have, the better you are at what you do. And Kev's done a good job with all of that. But there's so many great examples of people that just inspire and motivate all the time that you continuously see. I mean, you look at, Chris Russell, who's out there and see his journey, but he's always out there posting on We Hack Health and showing his progress. And the guys, Jack, I got to meet him in Vegas for the first time, came to our Trust Tech party, And it was great to see him and hang out with him a little bit. Didn't get the lift, but looks like we might be able to get that done in Texas. But so many good folks coming out there. You got Billy, you got Mike, so many good folks out there just really every single day talking about their progress, talking about how well they're doing. I got a great lift in with some of the We Hack Hawk folks. Boyd was there, Danny, Nevada Ace or Gringo. So got some good lifts in with those folks, but it's just really cool to see everybody's, progress and starting to continue to learn. I mean, Jake, just so many names that I can keep going through that just do a great job with communicating, how they're doing. John Barker, just going through the list here, so many folks sharing their progress, and that's what it's all about, right? Sharing your progress, sharing your motivation, sharing your successes, sharing your failures. The Discord community has been great with that and showing their progress there as well. So I think if you look at the span of a year of what has changed, we have a much stronger community, a much more positive community. Well, granted, it's always positive, but the more people we bring in, the more, support that people get across their journey, more questions that are answered, the more ability to learn about yourself and what you're doing. All of those continue to, make some substantial progress. So I think it's a really great thing that we continue to see from the community. I'm going to let you talk for like 4 minutes while I go get my coffee, or 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Can you talk for 2 minutes?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, 2 minutes. I'm going to run fast.
Am I talking to you?
I mean, you talk to the audience.
There's somebody else. Well, there's a couple of people actually within the client group that I want to mention as well, because obviously it's great to see everybody share their journey on social media to help sort of inspire and motivate other people. But there's a couple of people who I want to mention within the group. Mike, aka Todd, who has just absolutely flicked the switch, and it's cool to see other people within the community recognizing that to me. So I assume the majority of you guys will know at the minute. I'm having monthly one-to-one calls with everybody in terms of like their check-ins. So we do 3 check-ins per month in video format, and then we do one-to-one call. And then with the people that have mentioned the shift that they've seen in Mike, his food. He seems to be a fucking master chef now. Every day up, getting his workout done, posting about it, sharing, motivating people. And that for me is what it's all about within the client group itself. So seeing that, being able to motivate one another. And it's actually an interesting point that there's 2 ways that can be taken. Some people, and I've seen it before, would be like, oh, fuck that guy. Because they're maybe envious of the progress and how they're feeling, but it generally seems to be that it's a positive, and it seems to be that people are taking it the right way, and they're able to get motivated by other people doing well, and they have then the want to do better themselves. And so I think that outside of sort of the wider community, the stuff that's going on within the group as well, people losing 40, 50 pounds, people being able to come off their CPAP machines, people being able to come off their blood pressure medicine. Like, this is not just get shredded in 5 days to go to the beach. This is like hacking your health. I actually got a message from Daniel last week with the shit show that he had to deal with getting to and from Vegas. He said if it had been this time last year, he would have been an absolute mess. But because of the energy he has now, and because everything that we've done over the past however long it's been, he's actually been fine. And it's just, situations like that you don't really notice day to day, but whenever you're in the situation of you need more, or you need the demand, your body demands more from you, that you have it because you put the work in, for 6, 8, 10, 12 months, whatever it is.
Yeah. I think you look at all of the progress from different folks, myself, yourself included. It's a never ending journey that we're always on with this, right? And it's continuously making yourself better in some way, shape, or form. And I like how, we've actually seen in the past year multiple different diets or fads that have been disproven in some way, shape, or form. Like intermittent fasting is a great example. I'm not saying intermittent fasting isn't a great thing. It is. I do intermittent fasting, especially when I'm on lower calories. I think it's great to have a feeding window that you can.
How do you remember when you haven't had lower calories in ages? Don't we like as if you remember what it's like? I'm literally living and breathing.
When I do have lower
this
calories.
one time when I had lower calories.
I had lower calories at the beginning of the year. We did a cut for a little bit at the beginning of the year. Okay. And I was on lower calories and I did intermittent fasting. Right now, I can pretty much eat anything. It's great. But with intermittent fasting, there was direct research that came out that showed intermittent fasting had 0 benefits for a weight loss perspective for somebody that had caloric deficit. So caloric deficit is just as good of losing weight as intermittent fasting. Now, again, I'm not saying intermittent fasting isn't a great thing, and for the folks that work for it, it's absolutely keep doing it. It's a great way to keep yourself kind of in check. But it also, what they found for intermittent fasting research was that it did, help clean up your body, jumpstart metabolism, do a lot of great things that is the benefit of intermittent fasting. And caloric restriction in general, where you're eating less calories than you burn, has a direct correlation to longevity of life. So, the more caloric restriction you can be in, throughout your life, and the more weight that you maintain from a unhealthy perspective, the weight that you lose from an unhealthy perspective will directly equate to a longer life. So, but you've also seen, keto and all these other ones, and keto is great for certain cases, especially for folks that have sugar issues like diabetes, things of that effect. It was obviously originally designed to be an anti-seizure type of diet, which had some big benefits there. But, again, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're doing keto, if you're doing intermittent fasting, at the end of the day, the rule of calories in versus calories out, with some nuances, is still going to hold true to anything that you're doing. So if you're eating more calories than you burn, you're going to gain weight. If you're eating less calories than you burn, then you're going to lose weight. And I think what we've shown throughout this year is that continues to hold true. And there's a lot of things that you build around that. Resistance training, habits you start to form around mental discipline. We talked about discipline a few podcasts ago around how the discipline of getting out there, even when you don't feel like it, is where you need to be at in your mind. This morning I woke up, and again, I was tired. I didn't feel like waking up, but I got up and I said, I have to do this. And that's what I'm gonna do. And I didn't think twice about it. I got up and I went to the Orange Theory. I didn't think about it, one bit. Did my workout, came back, showered, and kicking off the day with some coffee now. So that's my day. That's my routine. That's what I do. That's what my habit is. That's my discipline that I have for myself. Same thing when I was in Vegas. I went to Orange Theory. I went to the gym. It's my habit. I have to do it. I don't have a choice to go and do it. Yes, I was out drinking till 2:00 in the morning, and I woke up hammered, and I still went to the gym, and I still fucking lifted, because I don't have a choice.
I did the same on Friday morning. I woke up early, and Ali, we were staying in the same hotel, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, I have to get up and go for my walk. Like, that's my routine. Like, I'm not going to change it just because you have a hangover and I'm in a different city. Like,
yes,
it's not a choice. It's an emotional reaction where you just get up and get it done.
I'll tell you, that fucking workout that I did while I was hungover was one of the best workouts I've done in a long time. I spent like an extra hour in the gym, and I was killing it. And I don't know what happened, because normally you think hungover, feeling like shit, wouldn't be performing.
It's actually, something
hit me hard.
It's probably whatever you were drinking the night before. It's probably the excess glycogen in your body. So I used to talk with Jo, who is a former Olympic athlete, and she said that a lot of the times that they would have went out and partied, they would have hit PRs and PBs in terms of on the track or whatever it was, because they had so much extra glycogen in their body. So it could be something to do with that.
It could be.
I just went out for a walk, and actually will say that although it was a shit show getting up, I got up, went out, like didn't even really have my eyes open by the time I left the hotel, but I felt infinitely better whenever I got back to the hotel, obviously with a cup of coffee. And, are you the sort of person that with a hangover going to get up and just get it done because that's your normal routine? Or are you going to lie in bed and feel like shit? Like, either way, you're going to have to make a decision. And I think that actually Carl today in his check-in, he talked about everything that you do is a decision and has a consequence, and you need to make sure that you're making the right decisions in line with the goals of the person that you want to become, whatever that is.
Now, I got to tell you about a story in Vegas about a GNC that I went to. And this was the craziest.
I actually can't wait to go to GNC in Nashville. Sorry.
Dude, I've been to a whole bunch of GNCs, and nothing like this has ever happened to me before in my life. So, the first thing I do and this is talk about routine, I had a bunch of stuff to pack. I had some Erin stuff because she obviously can't fit everything in her suitcase. So, I have to look at like, well, how, I get all my pills out. I get my fish oils. I get my vitamin D, which, by the way, I'm going to talk about a vitamin D research study that just came out on depression. But I get my vitamin D supplements. I get my, Onnit Total Human Pack. I take the day and night pack. So I bring those and I pack all my pills. But, when I get to the location, I want to have, protein and pre-workout and some mixers and things like that, which take up a lot of space in your bag. So my goal generally, if I'm spending more than a week in a location, is I'll hit up a GNC or somewhere local where I can get some protein pre-workout and some mixers to go through. So I go to this GNC with my buddy Paul, and as soon as we walk in, we notice something's just not right. We just get a weird feeling, and it's both of us getting this weird feeling. And it was just some like, weird communication talking. Like it was almost like fake or forced conversations were happening all around us that were like scripted or out of a TV show. And we were sitting
monologuing. They were monologuing.
Yeah, it was really weird. And I'm just getting like a weird vibe. But anyways, I'm like, whatever. I go and get my protein, go get my mixers, everything else. We probably got like $250 worth of pre-workout. And so, and of course I see like new pre-workout I haven't seen before. So I got to try that. So I get my normal one. Then I get one that I haven't tried before. And then I get some other stuff. I get some EAAs, essential amino acids and some other stuff. And I grab all this and I got this big haul of stuff, which, these folks typically make commission. So it's a good day for them, for me to come in here to have, $250, $300 worth of protein shakes and everything else. And I bought it for the whole house because I knew there was going to be a lot of folks working out and stuff like that. So it went pretty quickly. But I'm waiting in line and there's a guy in front of me and they're just having just weird dialogue. Excuse me. And then there's a guy to the left that is his friend. And I think the main person, his significant other or wife, was on there. And she's having a conversation in a different language that I didn't know was going on, but it was like a lot of yelling and bickering and stuff like that. And the guy to the left was having a conversation with another person. It was just, again, a weird, forced conversation, like didn't seem real. And the one in front of me, he's continuing to talk. And this is going on for like 10, 15 minutes. So there's only one person in front of me and I'm waiting in line for 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm like, I look at Paul and Paul looks at me. Our eyes are wide open and we're just getting like spidey sense. Shit's not right here. We need to get out of here. Something's wrong. Right. And so we put all of our stuff back and the guy looks at us putting the stuff back and he like runs around the corner to us and then kind of like escorts us out and then says, hey guys, have a great day. First of all, if you're a salesperson, you'd be like, hey guys, like seriously, like, I'm sorry, like I'm trying to do something here. I'll just be a few minutes or whatever. Nothing like that. He was trying to get us out of the store. And then we leave the store and the guy shuts the door and locks it behind us so no one else can get into the store. And this is at 4:00. They don't close till 6. And so I'm like, oh shit, something's going on here. Keep walking. So we get in the car and we drive to the GNC that's like 2 miles down the road. And this one was perfectly normal, like no crazy shit going on in this one. But I explained the situation to the lady at the front counter and she's like, yeah, it's weird that you say that. We've had 2 people call that were trying to get into the GNC, but the door's locked and they're not supposed to, close until 6. Something weird is going on there. That sounds like a really crazy situation. You should call corporate. She's like, I'm actually going to call corporate for you. So it was a really weird thing that happened. And I'm pretty sure like drug deal or something crazy was going down there or something that I didn't know about. Who knows? But it was one of those situations I was put in where I was just like, Paul and I get in the car and I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, what is going on? Like, I'm so weird right now. Like, I can't figure this out. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, piece together all the situations. And then you start to like think about it. And the one guy that he was talking to for the 15 minutes, that was supposed to be the customer. When I first came in, he was actually coming out of the back in the manager area. So why would a customer be in the back manager area? There's a lot of things that didn't like gel and come together. So something weird going on there, but made it out alive from a GNC. Thank God.
Well, hopefully, our experience in GNC in Nashville is much more normal than that one. So I could deal with that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. But you made it out. No issues. Got your supplements, got all the same stuff. Any new recommendations of pre-workout, I guess?
So there's this, I'm going to have to find, you're going to have to give me a minute here to find the name of this. There's a new pre-workout that's like Max Stim. So it's like 400 milligrams of caffeine, which, obviously is not for the faint of heart, like literally faint of heart.
I actually got, so just sorry to interrupt, I'll let you find that. The one that I got recently, actually for cardio, ironically, the Train by JP one. I might actually send you some. Train by JP. It's like CV intensity, CV burn intensity stimulator. It is on another level. Like I took it yesterday and got onto the bike. Now, whether it was just because it's warm as hell over here or what the story is, but like totally different type of pre-workout, not the same sort of like beta-alanine feeling, not like super high caffeine, just like the strangest, warmest version of myself that I've ever been. But like I said, I'm not sure whether it's just because it's been warm over here, so I'll try it out over the next couple of days. But interesting to see sort of different types of pre-workouts to sort of accommodate different types of training.
Well, the good news is you didn't die. So
no, definitely didn't die. I'm still here. It wasn't really a nice flavor. It was orange flavor, but I can convert.
So the one that I got was called, it's from Glaxon. It's called Specimen Max. And it's pretty good. It's got, I mean, the breakdown of stuff on it's pretty decent. It's got vitamin C, B. It's got a whole B stack. So it's like B1, B2, B3, B6, B12. It's got choline, magnesium, sodium, potassium. It does have 3,200 milligrams of beta alanine, which I love, of course. It's got a nitrate blend for your pump. It's got 400 milligrams of caffeine. It's got yerba santa, which is like a energy stimulant stack. A lot of really cool stuff built into it. I thought it was a good, clean, lift with those. So I enjoyed it, and it worked when I was hungover, so that was good.
So it actually might not have been the glycogen or the hangover or anything. But it might have been this
Glaxium pre-workout that literally made me like, your body's like, I don't know what you put into me, but it's pretty much speed. So yeah.
Right. Let me get it.
Two things I wanted to cover really quick. While I was out there, I have some time to look up things, and two new studies were put out that were really, really important to me that I thought were really good. Whenever you hear about supplements that you're taking or new supplements that you should take, you got to be like, well, what's the research behind this actually say? And are there other tests in mice, which commonly of those, controlled studies in humans are very difficult to do. Just because of the variables that humans have, inconsistency, things like that. Whereas in mice and rats and things like that, you can, control the scenarios and situations to an extreme. But two studies came out, one for testosterone. And what, I've been very open with that I'm on testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT. I was in the what's called hypogonadism area, where my testes were not producing enough testosterone for my body, and I was in a low state. And I probably have been that way for a pretty significant long time, not just in my 30s, but probably before that. I've always had issues with brain fog, energy, energy drive, my ability to maintain muscle, low metabolism, and all that good stuff that comes along with that. And, testosterone replacement therapy for me has been a whole new lease on life. And I was, one of those things that I think, you look back on as it was such a taboo thing to think about back in the day. But when we look at kind of the miracle hormone for men and the miracle hormone for women, estrogen for women, testosterone for men. And as we get older, 30s and above, we start to decline in the amount of testosterone our bodies produce. And so the question always is, does long-term testosterone use cause any issues in your body? Or is it a benefit of longevity or a negator of longevity? And there was an early study that came out in the 2000s that correlated testosterone replacement therapy to an elevated level of cardiovascular issues, i.e. could die from a heart attack or stroke or heart-related issues. And so, there's been some stigma around that if you take testosterone, you may have elevated levels around cardiovascular issues. Just recently, though, the Cardiovascular Advisor, there was a study that came out, one of the largest studies, over 35 studies from 109 publications. They went through all the data analytics and everything else, and looked at all of the testosterone replacement statistics around cardiovascular, arrhythmia, heart failure, coronary heart disease, myocardial infarction, stable angina. They looked at pretty much everything that could happen from a cardiovascular issue perspective. And why this study is so important is that, when a lot of PCPs will look at testosterone, they will say, well, there's studies that show that there's risk of cardiovascular issues of increases, which is why it really hasn't been normalized in modern medicine today. And that's why you have to go to kind of specialists that specialize in HRT. You do blood work, you make sure everything's good. And as long as those all come back fine, you can continue on with the TRT as long as you don't have any negative side effects. With the study, which again, to me was, for me, it was a solidifying thing that I already knew in my mind, I guess, because, why would something that you already produce in your body, as long as you keep them at normal levels, you're not abusing that, cause cardiovascular risk or issues as we get older? Testosterone for men is one of the most pinnacle foundational hormones that we have as men. And it's been shown decreases in those reduce our strength, which reduces our bone density, which reduces our ability to live longer. So why would that have a negative impact there? And so this latest study showed, and I put in quotes, air quotes, because I'm reading directly from the study, there was no evidence to support an association between testosterone and new onset diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, venous thrombonism, and non-stroke cerebral pathologies. testosterone treatment did not increase cardiovascular event risk in the short term to medium term. Furthermore, did it not identify subgroups with high cardiovascular risk. However, the current results provide some reassurance about the short-term and medium-term safety of testosterone to treat males with hypogonadism. So that was a really revolutionary study that came out just recently, just the past couple of weeks, and shows that testosterone replacement therapy does not equate to cardiovascular risk. And one of the largest analyses of data studies that has ever been conducted before on testosterone replacement therapy. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I think, obviously, I guess you and I are talking about it. We want to normalize it as much as possible because, like you said, it was kind of a taboo subject or nobody really spoke about it. And, again, I guess the more that we're talking about it and the more open we are about it, the more people are actually willing to have the conversation about it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody needs to be on hormone replacement therapy or testosterone replacement therapy. But it's like you said, if we're just trying to get back to the levels of it being optimal, why would you not want to be optimal? And it doesn't make sense. Okay, obviously everybody's levels of testosterone deteriorates at different rates, but it doesn't make sense to me that why would something that is produced naturally in your body, if you just had high levels of testosterone for the majority of your life, that's not something that's going to impact your cardiovascular health naturally if you're producing it yourself. So why, if you're bringing them back up to those levels, would it have any impact or any effect on it? I think, from our experience and from my experience with clients and having conversations, like the night and day difference in pretty much everything across the board when people are on testosterone replacement therapy versus when they weren't is, the benefits far outweigh the costs of it. So more energy, sleep better, feel stronger, recover better, manage food better. Like it's night and day difference. And the majority of the people that I speak to, when they're a few weeks in or a few months in, they're like, I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. And I think it probably just comes down to the, I guess maybe an ego thing. They don't want to admit that they need to have testosterone replacement. But I'm like, if you're getting back up to those optimal levels, like all day long, would you not want to feel better and live longer if there's a way that you can do it?
Yeah, I'll tell you, when I first started TRT, the needles were the biggest thing for me. Now, obviously, there are gels. I don't recommend them. The fluctuation of testosterone levels with gels aren't my favorites. And the ability for it to get on your hands and to touch, family members, it's detrimental to women. It's detrimental to your kids. You can start early puberty with your kids. So I rather to go the injection route. I've never injected anything into my body before other than having doctors do it. I'm not keen on needles. And, I'll tell you, when I first did it, I was a freaking mess, like I'm just freaking out. I'm like sitting there staring. I'm profusely sweating, It's one of those things where I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? And I'll tell you now, when I get to days that I have to inject for testosterone, I'm excited because I know that is something that I'm supplementing that is making me feel 10 times better, allows me to accomplish what I need to as a man, to be strong, to feel good about myself, to have the energy levels that I need to go through the day. And those types of things are irreplaceable to me. It's a staple of what I do now. And, there are ways of doing testosterone replacement therapy that don't impact long-term if you were to come off of it. So, there are peptides, that will stimulate LH and FSH sex hormones within your body so that your testes continue to produce testosterone while you're on testosterone replacement therapy. Otherwise, if you're just doing testosterone, your testes will then basically shrivel up and, you're not producing testosterone anymore. But again, the study coming out was real good assurance that, and again, the largest data study in mankind on testosterone, humankind, I should say, on testosterone is out there, shows no cardiovascular increases, nor any increase in diabetes or things to that effect. So again, really good study. The second study to talk about is vitamin D supplementation. And we have hit vitamin D so hard on this podcast so many times. If you talk about my two staple supplements, if you don't take anything else, it's vitamin D and it's fish oil. Like those are the two things out there that you can do today to increase longevity, happiness, energy levels, you name it. It's something like, we've talked about this before on the podcast, but just by taking vitamin D, enacts over 5% of your DNA. So it's enacting 5% of your DNA to actually behave and continue on with what you're doing. Think about it, if you're not getting enough vitamin D, you're not enacting that 5% DNA, what is going to the wayside in your body as you go through and do this? And so we've known that, so vitamin D is actually a steroidal hormone that our body needs. And sunlight obviously is the the main way that we want to get this, but also supplementation is very good. I'd heavily recommend it. And just to touch on fish oil really quick, there's been several studies. So the longest lifespan civilization or culture, I guess, is in Japan. So Japan, high fish diet. And it's been directly equated to them that because of the high fish or / fish oils that they're getting, that it allows for longevity of life. The study that blew my mind was that if you take fish oil, if you don't take fish oil, you're going to live as long as somebody that smokes and takes fish oil. So it has that much of a difference in longevity of life than not. So think about that. Someone that smokes, which we know causes cancer, causes, cuts years and years and years off of your life. One of the most unhealthy things that you can potentially do to your body. You will live less than somebody if they take fish oil and smoke at the same time. So fish oil leads to a minimum of 5 years of longevity out there. So I'd heavily recommend supplementing with fish oil. It also helps with, coating your bones and your body and makes you feel a lot better overall. Again, so many benefits. But one of the latest studies that came out, and this is from SciTech Daily, vitamin D supplementations help alleviate depression, according to research meta-analysis. Vitamin D supplementation alleviates depressive symptoms in adults with depression, according to an extensive meta-analysis conducted by the international team of scientists. The meta-analysis included dozens of research studies from around the world. It has been published in the Journal of Critical Reviews of Food Science and Nutrition. And so here's the main piece here I wanted to read. Vitamin D is thought to regulate central nervous system functions. Disturbances of these functions have been linked with depression. Additionally, cross-sectional studies have observed an association between vitamin D deficiency and depressive symptoms. However, previous meta-analysis on the effect of vitamin D supplementation depression have been inconclusive. In a meta-analysis, research from multiple different studies are combined and analyzed statistically. The new meta-analysis of association of vitamin D supplementation with depression is the largest one published so far. In fact, it included results from 41 studies around the world. These studies have investigated the efficacy of vitamin D in alleviating depressive symptoms in adults by randomized placebo-controlled trials in different populations. The studies included those carried out in patients with depression, in the general population, and in people with various physical conditions. The results of the analysis show that vitamin D supplementation is more effective than a placebo in alleviating depressive symptoms in people with depression. There is a major difference in vitamin D dosage used, but typically the supplementation is between 500 to 100 micrograms or 2,000 to 4,000 IUs per day. These findings will encourage new high-level clinical analysis in patients with depression or to shed more light on the possible role of vitamin D supplementation in depression. So, vitamin D use, we've talked about how we're creatures of tribes. So social interactions allow us to be happier. Human social interactions, not over, dopamine hits like Twitter and Facebook and things like that, or social media. Actual human interactions, and that's been proven from a chemical that we actually produce from a peptide perspective that causes us to be depressed when we're detached from people and humans, as well as vitamin D being a huge piece here. And there's some crazy statistic like 78 to 80% of the world population is vitamin D deficient, and we're living some of the most depressed. We have the most amount of depressed people in the world. I'm sure there's a true causation to those specific stats because of vitamin D and everything else. I'm not saying that's 100% the reason why, but I'm sure it's a huge cause for that because, again, 5% of our DNA, from a steroidal hormone or vitamin D, one of the most important things you could probably supplement in your life.
Yeah, and I think, even if you really break it down on its simplest form, like I know over here, whenever it's sunny, which is obviously where you get the vitamin D from, everybody is simply in a better mood. Like it literally comes down to the sun is out, so you're getting more vitamin D, so you're in a better mood. And then there's things like seasonal affective disorder, whenever the seasons start to change and it's like the darker nights come in and it's winter and whatever else. That is a genuine thing. So whenever the sun, we don't really get a lot of sun here, but when in countries that have a lot of sun and then they actually go through the seasons in there in the winter, like that seasonal affective disorder is an actual thing. I notice it in clients' check-ins that their mood's not the same. And that's simply what it comes down to. It's that like change in, I guess, hormonal balance. And so if you think about it on that basic level, like the impact that can have on your body, and again, as something that you can supplement, I would highly recommend. And it's not like, to me, that's not something that is, if we think about supplements, generally you're thinking like protein and, BCAAs and all this shit. Things like fish oils and things like vitamin D, like there are things that can actually improve your health and quality of life. The other shit like protein and creatine and all this stuff, they're the things that you're looking at that will get you the 1% better with your training and 1% better with recovery and stuff like that. So two sort of sides of the supplement industry, which I think in general, being able to break it down and know what you're taking and why you're taking it is important.
And when I listen to, when I look at supplementation, I look at it from two ways. One, what does my blood work tell me? So am I deficient in certain areas? And can I supplement that with things that I'm not getting through my normal meals? And two, what do the research scientists say about certain things for supplementation? Those are my two key areas that I look at when I'm going through. So I don't believe in a lot of the, latest fad supplement that's out there that's going to put on 70 pounds of muscle mass for you, or that's going to, it's a brand new type of whey that your body absorbs, 90% more efficient, or that type of stuff. I wait for, the experts to come in, and Huberman obviously has a lot of those on. The More Plates, More Dates guy, I was listening to while I was on, and they had a researcher on that was talking about supplementation and just, like beta alanine doesn't really have a huge impact as much as people think it does. Same thing for caffeine and that type of stuff. Although I'll continue to take beta alanine and caffeine, I can't help it.
Beta alanine, though, from what I gather, it's cheap supplement, and it gives you a feeling whenever you take a pre-workout. So people think that that's the pre-workout working, whenever that's just the beta alanine. It's not everything else that sort of should be on that ingredients list. So it's like, oh my God, I feel something. It's like, you feel like someone's taking a lighter to your face.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing with supplements is, use as necessary. Don't try to take as much supplements as you possibly can. Look at your blood work, look what you're doing. But if you're not getting blood work done, two things, fish oil and vitamin D are the two that I recommend. The other one that I would say is broccolini extract, condensed broccolini, which, has sulforaphanes, I believe is the right term from them. And that has shown, 75% increase in repair in DNA just by taking those, which is pretty amazing. There's a lot of great science and research behind those. But again, I'm not trying to overload you with supplements, what you should take. The fish oils and the vitamin D are the two most important ones.
The rest of your shit in line first.
Yeah, get your shit in line first.
Your nutrition, your sleep and all that stuff. Then focus on supplements that will help improve your health and quality of life. And then if you want to start getting the 1%, then you start looking at creatine and EAAs and the other massive rabbit hole shit show that you can go down. But do things in the right order. Yeah.
I think that's it for this. We're getting through an hour, and I feel like we hit so many different topics, but so much to talk about from everything. But I'm telling you, it is so good to be back in a routine. I am so happy to be here right now and not in Vegas. And the horrible thing is I'm pretty sure I have 2 speaking engagements the next 2 months in Vegas. So I actually have to go back for it. It'll be my 4 times in Vegas. I hate Vegas so much. You have no idea. But thank God they're only 1 or 2 day trips.
Go next year.
We're going to go next year. And it'll be a lot more fun. Then I'll spend more time lifting than I am dealing with the 30,000 people that park in there. And don't get me wrong, I love seeing people and friends that I haven't seen for a long time. It was great to catch up with a lot of folks. And I didn't get to see everybody, unfortunately, but hopefully more folks next time.
Maybe we'll have a We Hack Health event in Vegas next year. Who knows?
Do it.
Celebrate the second year.
At Smash Fitness.
At Smash Fitness.
My fave.
Right. See you next week.
See you next week. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and share us. If you like what you hear here, share it with friends and family that may benefit with all of this and get them motivated for their fitness journey. Again, this is a free thing that we do just to help folks out, share our knowledge, share our experiences, share others' experiences. It's a great community. Check us out on Discord at We Hack Health, Twitter, We Hack Health, Facebook, We Hack Health, WeHack.health, our website. You get the idea. But thank you all very much for tuning in this week, and we'll catch you again next week. Later.
See you next week.